find most of the roads are closed by the people to protect themselves.
Abdullah's heading to a district called Hurriya, one of the areas worst hit by sectarian violence. He's come to meet a well-known Sunni family. A video of Sheikh Kadem Saeed in happier times. One of the Sheikh's 5 sons was getting married. Although they're Sunni, this is a mixed area, and many of the friends and neighbours they'd invited were Shia. This was March 2002, a year before the invasion. And they're home now, after dozens of uniformed men burst in. This is now a house of 6 widows.
What have we done to deserve this? They killed all the men and left all the women. I've no one to complain to but God.
It happened last November. Even the youngest children remember it clearly. Haneen was asleep in her parents' bed.
I heard a gunshot, so I cuddled my dad. Then they came into our room and they shot Daddy. I told them not to kill my father, but the man told me to shut up and threatened to shoot me. Then he went and shot my uncle.
5 men died that night. Another son, the groom in the wedding video, was killed 3 weeks earlier. After a year, the 6 widows still won't go into the bedrooms, so a child takes Abdullah. Mustafa knows where every bullet hole is in every bedroom. A neighbour filmed this within hours of the killings. A family overwhelmed by rage and grief, the scale of the tragedy too great to understand. The neighbours said that night they'd seen police cars parked outside. One of the Sheikh's sons was a policeman and he recognised the gunmen as fellow officers.
The man went back in and shot my husband in the neck. Before they shot him, he told them he was a policeman like them. He said, "I am with you. I am with you." But they just shot him in the stomach.
The massacre of a prominent Sunni family sent shockwaves through the neighbourhood. Perhaps it was meant to. There was strong evidence that the killers were police commandos.
هؤلاء الأبرياء جاءوهم ليلا في الساعة 4 ليلا بملابس قوات الداخلية أو مغاوير الداخلية فقتلوهم. حاولوا اعتقالهم فلم يستطيعوا فقتلوهم.
The police commandos blamed for these murders are the units which have been most heavily infiltrated by Shia militia groups. The most active has been the Badr Brigade, the military wing of Bayan Jabbar's own political party. When he became Interior Minister last year, a senior American policeman was one of his advisors.
One order that the minister had signed was authorizing the hiring of 1,300 people directly into a commando unit. So, and without any police training, without any background checks, it was just wholesale recruitment. And we suspected it was just one of the units within the Badr organization being put on the payroll of the Ministry of Interior.
So this was like a ready-made unit being imported up and dropped in on Baghdad?
Changing uniforms, and from the Badr Brigade organization to special police units.
Last year, as more militiamen were recruited, more bodies began turning up, often wearing police handcuffs, and usually in the same places every day. So Jerry Burke wanted to set up a surveillance operation to catch the killers.
We talked to the Iraqi police, particularly the Major Crimes Unit, which would have been the unit to investigate murders, or internal affairs if there was some suspicion that they were special police organizations. And both of these organizations were very reluctant, in fact refused to investigate these sites. They believed that the suspects, the perpetrators, were members of the special police and were more heavily armed and would have killed members of the Major Crimes Unit or Internal Affairs in retaliation for investigating it.
So the ordinary police were too frightened?
Major Crimes and Internal Affairs were regular police, career police officers, and they did not want to investigate what they thought were militia elements working in the special police.
If the special commandos were to blame, it was politically explosive, because they were under the direct control of the minister.
Bayan Jabba's job should have been to prevent or investigate, and there was no evidence that he did either of that.
So what conclusion do you draw from that?
That he was at least tacitly approving what was going on. At least.
We wrote to Bayan Jabba about these allegations. He's now the finance minister, but he didn't reply. He's always denied all knowledge of the death squads and blamed rogue officers. The United Nations have brought me to their compound because every 2 months they do a report on the state of human rights in Iraq, and the latest one's just come out and it's grim reading. It shows that in July and August 6,500 civilians were killed violently, and particularly in July the figure's over 3,500. That's the highest figure for any one month, and the UN are describing the level of violence as unprecedented.
We get a lot of reports from our contacts and from the victims of human rights violations that there are links between the militias and the police, that there are links between the militias and Ministry of Interior or other ministries. Those are individuals that commit crimes every day and with a large degree of impunity, meaning nothing happens. There is not, at the present time, a way to really stop the course, this vicious circle of violence and counter-violence, bring to justice those who commit crimes, especially if they are from within militias.
When you raise this with the ministries responsible, what reaction do you get?
I think this government is very forthcoming with respect to the needs to give priority to the promotion and protection of human rights. I think the reality, unfortunately, is another thing.
This is the reality, Baghdad morgue, where victims of every kind of violence are brought until the families collect the bodies for burial. A Shia militia called the Mahdi Army control everything. Their gunmen stood behind the local cameraman the whole time. All the men he saw here were Shia. The only Sunnis were women. If their men come, they're threatened and sometimes kidnapped and killed. And the morgue isn't the only place in Baghdad ruled by the Mahdi Army. Our Iraqi colleague has come to see a Sunni group called the Association of Muslim Scholars. People bring their problems here because they don't trust the police, and the most common problem is a Shia militia group called the Mahdi Army. Hamid is a Sunni living in a mixed area, but the Mahdi Army have given his family 2 days to leave their home or they'll be killed. It's a relative. There's a problem with the driver they've hired to go and collect the furniture from their house. The family's found a Shia driver, thinking he'll be allowed through, but the Mahdi Army have threatened him.